So now let me actually comment out these lines of code here, and then I'm gonna actually paste in some more lines of code here. So first of all, let's actually comment out these lines of code. Just create a multi-line comment here, as you can see here, right? And now I'm gonna paste in some lines of code here, and then I'm gonna explain to you what's going on here. So as you can see here, these are the lines of code that I pasted here. So as you can see, we have actually another if statement here. So if int value, so here I am referring to our integer variable. As you can see here, we actually created this integer variable in line number 28, int value, and as you can see here, we are actually getting the value of this text field. As you can see here, the value of this text field value, edt number that get text plus string, right? So here I am actually getting the value of this edt number, and here I am actually converting this value to a string value, and here I am assigning that value, that string value, to this variable which is of type string, text field value. And in line number 28, I actually created a variable of type integer, and the name is int value, right? And then I put an assignment operator here. And then here I want to actually convert the value of this string value, text field value, to an integer value. So integer.parseInt text field value, right? So in this way, I can actually convert a string value to an integer value. So I just referred to the name of this integer class, and I called this method parseInt on this class, and then I actually passed this string value to this method. And here it's going to actually convert that value to an integer value, and then it's going to actually assign that value to this int value variable. And now here I am saying that if int value is actually greater than 90, then we're going to assign this value to this result variable, which is of type string. So result assignment operator, your grade is A and your number is plus int value. Else if int value is actually greater than 80, result assignment operator, your grade is B and your number is plus int value. Else if int value is actually greater than 70, result assignment operator, your grade is C and your number is int value. Else if int value is actually greater than 60, result assignment operator, your grade is F and your number is int value. And here we have actually an else statement. So if none of the conditions above are actually true, as you can see here, if none of the conditions above is true, then it's gonna execute this else statement. Else result assignment operator, you are not accepted, right? And finally, we are actually setting the value of this txt result. So txt result dot set text result, right? So now let's actually run our project and see what happens. So as you can see here, our application is running on this emulator. So now if I actually pass the value 97, for example here, 97, and then click on this button, show me the result, it says your grade is A and your number is 97, right? So here it is actually executing this if statement, because this expression here evaluates to true. The value of this int value is actually greater than 90, right? 97. And now let's actually pass, for example, another value, for example, 84, and show me the result. Now it says your grade is B and your number is 84. And here let's actually again execute this else if statement. Int value is greater than 70. So let's actually pass a value, for example, that is greater than 70, for example, 71. Show me the result. Now it says your grade is C and your number is 71. And notice that if I actually pass the value, for example, 70 here, now if I click on this button, it says your grade is F and your number is 70. As you can see here, now it's going to actually execute this else if statement. Int value is greater than 60. So here, as you can see, when I actually created this else if statement, I said that if the value of this int value is greater than 70, not equal to 70. So when we pass the value 70 here, it's going to actually execute this else if statement that actually controls the values that are actually greater than 60. So 70 is greater than 60, so it is F, right? So that's how I actually decided to actually control these conditions. If I wanted to actually check for the 72, I could put an assignment operator here. I could put this equal operator. So greater than or equal to 70. So then it's gonna, if I pass the value 70, it's gonna actually give us the value C for the grade. So that's how you manage your codes. So else if int value is greater than 60, it's going to actually execute this line of code here. And else So we created this else statement here in order to actually control the conditions that are not actually specified here. So for example, if none of the conditions above is true, then it's going to execute this else statement and it's going to actually show the result to the user. You are not accepted. So now let's actually pass the value, for example, number 50, and then click on this show me the result. Now it says you are not accepted because we actually didn't control the values that are actually for example greater than 50 or equal to 50, right? So hopefully that makes sense. And here, as you can see that we are setting this result to this txt result. So this is txt result, right? So now let's actually pass another value. For example, let's actually pass a letter, for example A here, and now let's click on this button here, show me the result. And now as you can see here, our application crashed. Why? Because here, as you can see, if you look at this line of code here, when I want to actually convert the value of this text field value to an integer value, as you can see here, the value that is assigned to this text field value must be actually of number, right? If this value is actually a letter, and when I want to actually convert that letter to an integer value, this method here is going to fail, and then it's going to actually crash. So in order to avoid these kinds of crash, we need to actually provide exception handling here, right? We need to handle the exceptions, right? So I'll talk more about exception handling later in this course, but for now, remember that because we actually specified that that this text field value is going to be an integer number, okay, we need to actually pass in an integer number into that text field here, okay? So as you can see here, in this text field here, we must actually pass in an integer number, okay? Because we explicitly determined that we are going to actually put in a value of type integer, okay? We converted this value, this text field value, to an integer number, and then we assigned that value to this int value. And here we are actually working on this int value here, okay? So hopefully that makes sense. And if you have any questions, please post a discussion in the course and I'll do my best to answer your questions. And thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.